A couple of weeks ago, a woman friend of mine said to me, I just saw a headline today that Jagged Little Pill was released 30 years ago. This was like a couple of weeks ago. She told me this. It's like, what? It's so nuts that I can think about my life in terms of decades at this point. And I'm imagining many of you know that I'm referencing Alanis Morissette's album. I call it my Rage album, and I call the era of my life to which that was the soundtrack, my Alanis Morissette era. And so my friend and I were talking about like it was the soundtrack of a generation, really. And I've been thinking a lot about that since then, both like, oh my God, it's really incredible to think about 30 years ago. And again, that I can think of my life in terms of decades now, several of them. And thankfully and happily, like, woohoo, I've made it this far. But what it made me think about is all of the jagged little pills that I've had to swallow in my life as a woman. And that many of us have swallowed and do swallow as women, as we navigate these patriarchal systems that do not honor us. And I think over time now, especially the past several decades, we've really come into our own a lot as women with like standing up for what's true, standing up for what's right, taking what's ours to have. I would say we've tipped out of balance a little bit, and especially in how that affects our intimate relationships and our desires for intimate relationships. But I do think we've really come a long way, baby, in terms of how much freedom we have, how much choice we have, how much independence we have, and how much, we have available to us in our worlds right now that our mothers didn't have, our grandmothers didn't have. Not too long outside of that Jagged Little Pill era, or just before it, just a few years before it, I can remember I was 16 and I wanted to buy my own car. And I had a friend from dance school who was selling her car, and we thought, oh, this is perfect. It was this zippy little like red Ford Taurus or Tempo. And I was like, yeah, I want that car. So I went to my mom to talk to her about buying this car, and she was just so clear that we couldn't do it because, she couldn't help me do that. And what I wanted her to do was go to the bank with me and help me get a loan to pay for the car, buy the car, and then I would pay the payments off on the loan at the bank. But my mom's reasoning was that a woman can't get a loan on her own. You have to have a man sign off on it. And her husband, who was a jackass, was not going to sign off on it. She just knew that about him. And therefore, it was not possible for me to get this car. Well, I was determined, number one, to have the car, but also number two, that no way in hell that jackass was going to keep me from having what I wanted. And bless my mom that she couldn't see around it. So I got in touch with the bank to find out what it would take for me to get a loan. Turns out they would allow me to get the loan with my mom as a co-sign, and we didn't need him to be involved in the picture at all. So I think that was a big moment for my mom too. Like, in her life up to that point, what she was telling me probably would have been true. It probably would have been true that she couldn't go get a loan at the bank for a car or a home or starting a business or any number of things without a man's signature, a husband's signature, or a father's signature to be able to do it. Like that probably was part of her lived experience up to that point. So, even in our lifetimes, and even more so in my daughter's lifetime, she's about to turn 26. That's another thing that really dates me in an unbelievable way, but she's about to turn 26, and I've seen so much change in what's possible for her and available for her in her lifetime. And that's evolution, right? And rapid evolution, a kind of rapid evolution that I really do feel that we all as humanity are in right now, and a rapid evolution that we are experiencing in the expansion of consciousness right now. So, yeah, I've just been thinking about those things a lot, and about, even though I was able to go get the loan and get the car, and it was my first car that I owned at 16, there have been many, many things along the way that I've been truly enraged about in terms of the treatment of women in our societies. And there are many things today still, for sure. But I really did feel like my Alanis Morissette era helped me. Thank you, Alanis Morissette, wherever you are in the world right now. Helped me digest it, helped me work through it, helped me process it, helped me like bring enough of my rage forward to just be like, yeah, I'm doing it anyways. I'm going for it anyways. And I feel like right now, in this moment in time, is another one of those places where I personally, and my daughter too, and so many of us, I think, are like, I'm going for it anyways. I'm doing the thing. Let's go. Let's do it. And I'm not even listening to people who tell me I can't, or it's not possible. There's not a man in my world who could have any impact in my decision making right now. And I don't say that to mean that I don't want a man in my world, because I do. I just want a certain kind of man and not other kinds of men. But what is my point here? My point is, I think there are definitely eras of our lives that we can look back on where we could feel our rage, and that we even can tap into that again now, and for lots of good reasons. But I do also think that, just like the music of Alanis Morissette and her personal journey, we can evolve. We can evolve to taking our stand and knowing our truth from our hearts, from the power of our wombs. And it doesn't mean we don't tap our rage or bring our rage when it's necessary, but it does mean that there are other aspects of ourselves that are powerful besides our rage. And we can bring those to the forefront. We can bring those to the table in terms of what we're creating in our lives. What's the world we want to be living in? What is our evolutionary path that we want to be walking? What do we want to see in society around us, and how do we contribute to that? Again, I think our rage has a place there, but I think there are lots of other power aspects of ourselves too that we can really be bringing to the forefront, and growing ourselves and growing our communities and growing our societies from that place. Growing the power of womanhood. Growing what is available to us. You know, I really feel like we all hit some Alanis Morissette power rage around Roe v. Wade, and what a setback that was for us as women and our rights to our bodies. And we keep going. We keep going. We keep bringing it more. We keep doing it anyways. We keep speaking out against what would try to stop us. And the bigger we get, the smaller all of that gets. It doesn't ultimately have any more the power to overpower us. We're beyond the witch burning times. In the respect of, you know, the Inquisition, there are other things we know, and it's still happening in many kinds of ways in the world, we know, but we are progressing, we are evolving. Now is not the time to give up. It's the time to evolve ourselves and bring that evolution out into our world in whatever way we each individually do that, or collectively do that with our sisterhood. So I hope for you that you have been able to move beyond the Jagged Little Pill into Thank You, India, or some version of that. Thank you for all the lessons, for all the teachings, for all of the spirit I can find within, and that feeds you and nourishes you in these times and in the times ahead. And from my heart to yours, I just want to say we're all in it together. This is a collective ride that we're on, and these waves are going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming for a while, but we've gotten really adept at riding waves, right? So let's go, ladies. Here we go. We're on the waves. We keep bringing it, and we keep seeing a a different future, a vision of a new future for our daughters and our granddaughters and their daughters, and so on and so on too. All right, sending big love to you from my heart to yours, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, if you could go over and click that subscribe button, it would really help me continue to bring you free content, and it would help YouTube and the algorithm spread this content to others, other women who may not yet have found feminine wisdom teachings, may not yet have found spiritual teachers for themselves, who could really benefit from what I'm offering here. If you just click that subscribe button, that can really help make that happen. It's a simple and easy way that you can help other women find their way to feminine wisdom teachings. All right, thanks so much for that, loves. Blessed be.